Okay, so we're going to look at the VUMANCHU settings now, just to give you a little bit of a heads up on how to manipulate these little indicators. Um, when you put your mouse on the screen, you've got these dotted lines, little white dotted lines that just run horizontally and vertically here. And if you go to the side where the numbers are relating to the indicator, you can pinch them down so you make sure you get everything on the screen, and you can slide it back up again. And you can increase the size of it if you want to get a bit more um, definition. Now, the thing is with these indicators is that you really want to focus on a time frame of, say, around 2.5 hours, because we're working with a 30-minute chart. So if you go back and click on the actual graph and use your scrolling setting, you can condense it down and it looks an absolute cluster of information, which is way too difficult to interpret. So when we this is great when you're looking, let's say you want to look at the daily chart just to see what's going on. If you bring that down, you can see here that we know what the overall trend is like, which is fine. That gives you a little bit of information. And then once you can see that, then you can start to look in more detail. So if we go into the 30-minute chart again, and it's obviously a tiny little line now. We're looking at a little period here from 27th of October all the way through to 12th of December. We're not interested in what's going on back here. We're only interested in this area. And we already know that the market is downward trending, but we are working with this 200 EMA. So what we need to do is to increase that size and focus in on everything that's been happening for the last few hours, really. And then we can use our little mouse wheel to make sure it's big enough that we can actually see what's going on in this current trend. And then we can increase the size here and look at the VUMANCHU indicator, which is what we want to do. So that's the scrolling backwards and forwards. The VUMANCHU is here. We're going to look at the settings. We need to try and get it looking similar to what we've got here. And in order to do that, go to the settings and you can untick these two divergences. This just makes much more cluster of information, which is too difficult at this stage. Just untick those. All these settings are default. They haven't been changed at all. All these numbers in these boxes haven't been changed. Untick that one, make sure that's unticked. Untick that one. You can leave that and keep that one on. These numbers all stay the same. Untick that one, untick that one. All these numbers stay the same. And you can untick this one, the stochastics, untick that. You don't need that. All these numbers stay the same. Untick that one, untick that one. All these numbers stay the same. Untick that, and you are good with the inputs. Go to style, and nothing needs to be changed here except for the VWAP. Now, by default, it comes as a different arrangement. So your arrangement will show something like, I think it's a area like that. So we click on that one and click on line. Change the color from, I think it's a gold by default. Change it to white. Increase the intensity. You don't have to have it to the max, but I've pretty much got mine to the max. And increase the line thickness. It's easier to see. Okay, so that's that one. And then everything else stays, I believe, at default. And there's nothing to do there. Oh, turn that one off, the MFI bar colors. That just adds more noise to the screen. and then you can click on OK, and then you're good to go.